Karen from Countyfairgrounds USA, countyfairgrounds.net. Welcome to today's podcast.
And I believe I have Timothy McCandlass on the line with me of Cirque Adventure.
Yes, ma'am. How are you, Karen?
I'm fine. Okay, Mr. Timothy, you run a circus thing. You want to tell us about it?
Sure. Well, we travel nationally all throughout, though we're based out of Texas. We perform at fairs and festivals. We do everything from high-flying aerial acrobatics to ground tumbling to, everything you typically see at a Cirque du Soleil or a circus show. Juggling, tumbling, silly antics, everything from A to Z.
Okay, and how long have you been a circus?
Quite a while. Let's see, we've been touring for the last decade. Prior to that, we were, working as individuals and doing other things. We've been solid touring continually almost for the past 7 years, I want to say. Typically, we'll do 3 30-minute shows in a day.
Okay, so you do them on a stage, or do you do them on the grounds?
We are typically a ground show. So basically we have an entire set that goes our own. It's decorated according to the theme. Last few years we've been pirates, but we have everything from a hillbilly show to circus elves to, typical 4th of July. And we've even been asked to be Easter bunnies before. So our set is 25 deep by 35 wide, and we provide everything except electric is the only thing we need from a fair.
Okay, so you say there's 7 of, are you all family?
Yes, it's my wife and I and our 4 kids.
So I'm kind of curious exactly how you personally got started. I mean, did your father do this?
No, ironically, I grew up in the martial arts and gymnastics and ended up in the stunt world. And working in stunts is either prince or pauper. They're either making movies or they're not making movies for 3 or 4 years. So somehow or another, I ended up in circus from that point.
Okay, and you have four kids. How old are your kids?
Our kids range from age 7 to 16.
And do they all perform?
Everybody takes part in the show. Obviously, the 7-year-old doesn't too much high up in the air or anything like that. But everybody does take part.
So what are some great memories that you have from some previous shows that you've done?
See, great memories for us. I would have to say our biggest, wonderful memory is the fact that we perform as a family. So for us, it's more than just the show itself. Our family's out there entertaining. Families are coming to enjoy seeing us perform. So it's a plus for us, and obviously since we love it, it shows in our shows, and the audiences enjoy it. And the biggest memory for us as a family performing personally is Rock Springs, Wyoming. An older gentleman from Mexico came up to us crying after a show because he was so happy to see our family performing because he had memories of that as a kid in Mexico. Biggest memory as a family. Of course, other wonderful memories are driving through the middle of a field to try and find our parking spot and getting stuck in, 8 feet deep of mud and having to be towed out by one of the tractor pulls, which was a blast. Of course, since we're a family, it's all funny stories,
Oh, funny's good. Funny's good.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
How do you train? What age did you start training your children at, and how hard was it to do?
Honestly, our kids come out of the womb kicking. So my wife actually performed, pretty much through all of her pregnancies. She's not doing the crazy stuff where it's, jerking on her body or doing anything that's tough, since she's our main aerialist. She can't be doing those big bomb kind of drops where she drops and hits a sudden jerk at the bottom when she's pregnant. But, she was still performing all throughout. So the kids come out, and the younger ones, they kind of just play. As they go along, they do, we have our 7-year-old. We'll be out there training for hours, and he'll come in and jump into tumbling and disappear and go dig a hole somewhere and come back and play. So, it's nothing that with the kids, it's forced on them. Or if they want to, they do. If they don't, we don't care. They can stay backstage. That's
I didn't ask you your wife's background. You want to tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. My wife actually got into it as an adult. She grew up, climbing on everything, and we actually met in a martial arts school at some point that I was helping out teach when I was back doing stunts and some small circus work, and she ended up getting into it then, and has loved it ever since. And
so, in order to do the kinds of things you do that I've seen from your website online, you guys have to be in pretty good physical shape, and you must have pretty good diets, right?
I would definitely say we eat well. We both, our family, we try to avoid junk food, and of course it happens. We got on a kick of Doritos just 2 days ago, and are paying for it now because now we just want more. It's not something that we often buy. Mostly for us it's fresh fruits, vegetables, and good organic type chicken and beef. And occasionally you give in to those Doritos, and now they just want to eat. Now we just are all craving Pringles, because that's the big one for us.
That's not good. You do a lot of aerial acts, though, but that means that you have to be really physically fit. So the question really comes down is, how do you make kids work out like that? Because that takes a lot of dedication.
Ironically, our kids are all motivated to train on their own. I guess it intrinsically comes from my wife and I, because we'll both train for hours on end to have fun, and it's, for us, it's a game and it's training. We don't look at training as work. We look at it as fun. I mean, obviously, we're doing tumbling and flying high, so it's all things that are fun to do and all things that little kids dreamt that they could do. I mean, I remember being a kid going to see Ringling and being like, oh my gosh, I wish I could do that. And that's how I got into gymnastics, and that's why I ended up where I'm at. So staying in shape is, fun flipping and jumping, and for us, we get to do the same thing performing, which is awesome.
Okay, so do you eat junk food while you're performing?
After a good solid week of shows, usually we will hit up a good buffet. Golden Corral, I would have to say, is our favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been at this for a long time now, and you've done a lot of shows. Are there any places that you would really like to perform that, you haven't had an opportunity to?
Places we'd like to perform. Well, actually, we love the Rocky Mountains. Yeah, we did the Rocky Mountain tour a few years back with Brown's Amusements, and fell in love with the Rocky Mountain area. And we're actually headed back there this year. We'll be in Utah, Colorado, Montana, and Wyoming for the most of the season. Yeah, obviously, we still have some openings for this year, so anything in there that'd be filling would be great. I'd say Alaska would be our big one. I've been talking to Susie up at Alaska Fair for a few years, just trying to see how we can make it work and get up there.
Yeah, that's a long way. It's a
long way. Yeah, it would be a long way, and we're just going to take off for the rest of the month of August because we just need to stay in Alaska and have fun.
So I see you have different themes. I went on your website and looked, and you have you can theme your act, right?
Yes, that's correct. Now, we try and keep the themes as focused as we can each year, because that's just more stuff that we have to travel with. Usually our pirate theme is the most popular theme for us. Everybody loves a pirate, and it's a great, funny show. We've done the hillbilly theme or the country theme, and people love that one as well. But for some reason, the pirate one is just really popular.
That's because people always think of pirates as doing things like what you're doing.
Exactly, right. And, of course, having grown up in martial arts, we had some good fight scenes in there as well. So that's a fun thing, too.
I was thinking about that after I watched that video. I don't think those pirates from way back when were probably in that good a shape. So.
I never know. I mean, I guess, you end up with scurvy and starving between trips on the boat. So I would imagine not that great shape.
Okay, so how far east have you been?
We are actually originally from Florida. So we've done everything from Florida through Georgia, South Carolina. Ironically, nothing up in the Northeast. Just haven't gotten up that way. But we've done everything from Florida across the United States up to Illinois, all the way out to Oregon, back down through California and back.
I'm really curious. Do you remember your first circus performance, the first show that you ever did?
Honestly, no, I don't know. I think it was at a festival. It was literally just a festival. I'm trying to remember where it was. It was in Florida somewhere.
The reason I ask you that is because a lot of people listen to our podcast, and they often wonder, and some of them ask me, how do you get started in stuff like this? I mean, it's nowadays people think about technology. They don't think about, doing the kinds of things that you do. And I'm sure that there would be a lot of people that would have an interest. So what kind of pointers would you give them?
Pointers, if somebody's interested, really the best route they can go is to get some gymnastics training just for basics. I mean, there's a lot of non-professional level aerial schools out there, but I would definitely lean towards going to a gymnastics school. You're going to get the safest training, the best training. All of their equipment is engineered and regulated as far as safety goes. And a lot of the aerial schools that you'll go to out there, I mean, you can't just hang something up from a ceiling and fly off of it. We have to make sure, our body actually can generate, 3,000 pounds of pressure when we're zipping and flying down. So you'd be amazed at how much pressure and torque can be generated when you're dropping even just 10 feet. So that's definitely a big consideration. I would highly suggest finding a good gymnastics program.
I have to ask, has anybody ever really broken anything?
In our family, my wife's had some broken ribs. I mean, I've fallen and busted myself up a few times, flipping and tumbling. But in a show, no. In training, yes. We've been 100% in shows. It's when you try the new things that you tend to fall and get hurt. We do all of our own rigging and aerial, so we know that we're safe. Most of the accidents that you'll see that happen in circus happen because, they're running from place to place and one person's setting up and the other person's performing on it, and then all of a sudden Cirque du Soleil has a lawsuit on their hands somewhere.
Oh, that's depressing.
So it's my family that's flying up in the air, so I make sure that everything is 100% safe.
You're a busy guy, right?
Well, we keep our gear brand new and replaced on a regular and constant basis to make sure we don't have any safety issues.
Mr. Timothy, how do people reach you?
They can reach us on our website. And the easiest way to get there is FamilyCircusShow.com. It's just the words Family Circus Show, no fancy dashes, no capitalization or anything, .com.
Phone number?
Phone number is 407-244-6912.
Okay, Mr. Timothy, I've enjoyed really talking to you, and I'm sure my audience will love to hear some of the things that you have to say. So one more question. If you could do any show that you would want to do, any special place that you would really like to go more than any other that you haven't had an opportunity to?
Australia.
Hey, you never know.
I've wanted to go to Australia my entire life and have yet to go there.
Okay.
In the States, I would definitely say Alaska. That would be the big one.
Okay. Well, I wish you luck, and maybe I'll put a plug in for you to the Alaska State Fair.
Awesome, Karen. Thank you, and you have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.